Hello and welcome back to StarCraft II. Player found, and the game is starting. I've got another PvZ for you here, or ZVP I suppose, because you're actually watching from my point of view. I'm playing against Sergeant Bob. Pretty cool nickname right there. Well, not really, sorry Bob. Although other nicknames that Bob in are fine, just not Sergeant Bob, I think. Anyway, so we're on Metalopolis, and I really hate playing against Protoss, especially on this map, because this is the normal one and they can spawn close by ground, so it gets a bit frustrating trying to keep that expansion up. But I wanted to use this as an example to talk about a few things that I do wrong very, very often. I keep telling you guys that I sometimes have these, like, I don't know, slumps where I build too many drones, I don't prepare for attacks, even if I know it's coming. This was my first game of the day, by the way, that's why it loaded so long. And I don't know, that's why it sort of lags a lot at the start. But anyway, okay, there's the good luck, have fun, and the U2, standard from me right there. But what happens is, I quite often, especially against Protoss for some reason, because they've got this time that they always, this little time frame that they always tend to attack in, no matter what they're doing. You know, if they're using a 4-gate, it usually comes a little bit sooner, but if they're doing something like a 3-gate expand, which is incredibly popular at the moment, I think all of you guys out there that play against Protoss on the ladder, or even the Protoss players out there will probably know that it's happening a lot. It's become quite popular, and I think 4-gate is, I wouldn't say on the down, but it's not really seen as often anymore. I saw a lot more 4-gates a couple of months ago. But so this is another one of those games where I didn't really do exactly what I wanted to do, and looking at it afterwards just sort of made me depressed. I mean, my mistakes were quite glaring in this one. A lot of things I would have changed, but here, just having a look around his base, I'm happy that I had as long of a look as I did. And yes, he's close by ground. Terrible, terrible stuff. I'm happy that I had a good look around. So I decided to go for gas first and get my spawning pool after that, and then throw down an expansion soon after that as well. Obviously I need that expansion down quite early. It's pretty important, I don't need to tell you that. So, as I said, I'm having a good look around his base. I haven't spotted the gas yet, but I am going back for another run. I think it's quite important that you keep your scouting drone or probe or SCV or whatever alive as long as possible, just so that you can see as much as possible before leaving. So I did see one gas going up. I was actually expecting a 4-gate just because I hadn't faced one for so long. It was just one of my fears in the back of my head there. So my timings and stuff, another thing I wanted to say was that my timings and stuff are actually really bad. Okay, I never have a set time when I do things. I would say I wing it. I go into every game and I sort of just make up the strat as I go, and that's not great. Sometimes I have sort of a game plan going into it, but more often than not I just go in and try, and this is now the big word there, is try to react accordingly to what I see. So I got my 100 gas immediately. I'm quite happy that I pulled my drones off the line. I often forget them there, and then I sit with so much gas and not enough minerals. So I already started that metabolic boost, which is great, and I'm going to throw down my expansion in just a minute. So that might actually be a little bit late. I think it would have been better if I threw it down a little bit sooner. But back to the timings. So because I don't have these set in stone timings, I don't know exactly when to expect an attack from a 3-gate expand or from a 4-gate. I try to have enough map vision to negate the fact that I don't know when they're going to attack. I mean, I know the general time. I've been shoutcasting for a while, and I just sort of get too comfortable, as I always seem to say. I get too comfortable, I drone up too hard, and I'm not ready. In this game, it wasn't really the case. That wasn't 100% the problem, but definitely a contributing factor that I didn't prepare well enough for the attack. You'll see in just a second what I mean. So, having a look around here, and when I spotted the Stalker up on the high ground along with the Zealot, and I didn't see any sentries, then I thought, okay, this is going to be a 4-gate. And the reason for that is just because I didn't see the sentries. Usually by that time they would have been getting those sentries out, and maybe even starting to think about moving out to get that expand down, because those were the two things that I was definitely looking out for. I didn't really expect tech. I expected a 3-gate expand or a normal standard 4-gate. So I decided I was going to go for Zerglings in this. I was going to get Zerglings, Banelings, a couple of Spine Crawlers, and then get the upgrades for them early. I was speaking to you guys in the comments a little while ago about upgrades and how important they are, and like 2-2 Zerglings, or even 2-1 or 2-0 Zerglings, just getting that attack on the Zerglings it definitely helps out a lot. It means that Zerglings can deal with Stalkers early game pretty easily, especially if the numbers aren't too high, and they can most definitely deal with sentries if you can just sneak them in the right place. I actually just watched a great game with Destiny and Huck, where Destiny used Infestors to throw infested Terrans in between Huck's sentry line, and it worked incredibly well. Anyway, but that's a story for another day. I might try that out, so look out for that in the future. So throwing down 3 spine crawlers, I feel I could have thrown down more. I had quite a few minerals, but then I decided to drone up a little bit more, get some Zerglings out. I was now starting to think about preparing, especially seeing this guy moving out, and then there. That's where it hit me. Okay, it's not a 4-gate. He's definitely going to try to expand. But that's actually where I now went wrong. I saw him with all those sentries out, but I did not expect him to attack. So I threw down another gas, I got a few more drones out, I didn't get a lot more Zerglings out, and that was a big mistake from me because, I mean, I'm giving you a bit of a spoiler here, he was actually going to attack in just a minute or two. And I suppose a minute or two is a pretty long time in StarCraft time, but still. I do think that I could have prepared a little bit better for it. I had a decent-ish economy. I watched the replay afterwards, by the way, and when he attacked, I had a good 5 drones more than him. So fine, that's not a huge lead, but that would have meant that I would have been able to produce enough to stay in touch with what he has. I decided not to go for roaches here. I don't know, I don't really enjoy roach play as much as I do Zergling play, and I'm playing this game for fun. Okay, I'm not playing to be a pro gamer. Perhaps later I'll take it a bit more seriously when I got some more time. But right now I'm playing to enjoy myself, and I enjoy using Zerglings. I enjoy using Mutalisks. I love using Banelings. I mean, how could I not? When I scouted there, I didn't actually see very much of anything. He obviously had his whole army standing there. I could see that he had expanded. So right now is when I should have actually been producing a lot of units. I had my upgrades coming out, my bending nest was going down. I'm not sure why I was running as much gas as I was. Obviously, I wanted to get the upgrades out, but I think I could have maybe taken at least 1 or 2 drones off the gas. What I was aiming for was just 16 drones per mineral line, but here he came now, and it was a little bit too late. If I could pause here right now, I could just count the units for you and show you that he had a good amount. He had a lot more than I had at the moment, but I feel I could have held this. I just controlled my army really badly, and I think I got caught off guard so badly with these force fields. I had a lot of Zerglings here, and look, I nearly got a good surround. I nearly got these units in there, but look at all the Zerglings I'm losing right now to these Stalkers and Sentries just because they're running against these force fields as much as they are. That was a huge miss micro from me. I definitely think I would have been able to take it. I pushed in there again, but by the time I pushed in the second time, I just didn't have enough. He had a proxy pylon right there, warping in even more zealots. I should probably have even pulled the drones off the line, maybe a few more spine crawlers, but basically this last fight, I think I would have been able to hold it. I don't think I totally over-droned. I didn't get stuck in that comfort zone too much. I think I just lacked the control that I needed. I didn't prepare in the sense that I could have prepared the battlefield a bit better. Okay, so that's it. I definitely lost this game. You can see it. He has a lot of zealots, quite a few stalkers, a couple of sentries left. But I really do feel that that's the kind of game I should have won. He gave me ample warning, I suppose, that he was attacking. I didn't keep my Zerglings where they should have been. I could have tried a sort of pincer attack there. I should have just basically kept the Zerglings alive, waited for 1 or 2 more sets of spawns. And one thing I'm definitely going to be doing every single game from now on is I'm going to throw down a macro hatch almost immediately after my expansion goes down. I think that's sort of essential. It would help me get those Zerglings out because I did start building up quite a few minerals at the end there. But hey, that's how it turns out, and I definitely learned something from that game. I actually learned a lot from that game. I'm going to be mixing my game versus Protoss up, as I said. I'm going to try watch for those attacks more diligently, maybe get a few overlords out there, a couple of Zerglings out there, watching the map a little bit more than they are already. Maybe scout a little bit with my own overlords at around the 6, 7, 8 minute mark, just to make sure he's not ticking really fast, getting Dark Templars, something like that. And most importantly, that macro hatch and the control. I should always keep a group of Zerglings away from the ramps, away from spots where they can maybe get caught up by those force fields. But anyway, that's the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As I said before, I'm not a professional gamer. This is just for fun, having a look at my games, trying to see where I went wrong, trying to learn something from it, and I hope you guys did too. So thanks for watching, and check back here soon for more.